Hi, I'm Sarah, and I once believed my marriage to Tom was unshakable. We met in college, dated for a few years, and married in our mid-20s. Our life felt perfect. We had two wonderful children, Lily, 8, and Ben, 6, and a beautiful home in a quiet neighborhood. I worked part-time as a graphic designer, balancing motherhood, while Tom thrived in his marketing career. But slowly, cracks in our marriage started to appear. Tom was spending more time at work, often mentioning a young colleague named Tammy. At first, I didn't think much of it, just another name among his coworkers. But as weeks passed, I noticed something. He was bringing her up more often, and his work hours were stretching longer. I finally met Tammy at a company event, a vibrant 25-year-old brimming with ambition. She greeted me with a smile, but her words cut deep. "You should really step up your wife game, Sarah," she said slyly. "Someone might steal Tom away if you're not careful." Her remark caught me off guard. I tried to laugh it off, but the unease lingered. 3 months later, my worst fears were confirmed. Tom came home one night, unusually quiet. After putting the kids to bed, he sat me down and confessed. "I've been having an affair with Tammy. I'm leaving you and moving in with her." He couldn't even look at me. I was stunned. "What about our family? Lily and Ben?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I'm sorry, Sarah," he said, standing up. "But I've made up my mind. Tammy's even helped me pack." I watched in disbelief as the man I had built my life with walked out the door, Tammy by his side. She even had the nerve to make light of the situation, joking about how easy it had been to steal Tom away. I was devastated, pregnant, abandoned, and left to pick up the pieces of our shattered marriage. The divorce was swift. Tom, consumed by his affair, agreed to most of my terms. I got the house, the car, and a significant alimony settlement. We arranged 50-50 as custody of Lily and Ben, both wanting what was best for them. I tried to hold it together, putting on a brave face for my children as we adjusted to our new reality. But Tammy was relentless. She seemed to take pleasure in tormenting me, sending photos of her and Tom's engagement and pregnancy as if to remind me of her victory. One day, she sent me a sonogram picture with a smug message, "It's a boy." I couldn't help myself. I replied, "Congratulations. Let's hope he doesn't inherit his father's cheating tendencies." The fallout was immediate. Tom called me the next day, furious. "That was uncalled for, Sarah." "Uncalled for?" I snapped. "She's been rubbing this in my face for months, Tom. I'm done." "You could at least try to show some empathy," he retorted. "Empathy?" I shot back. "She destroyed our family, Tom. I owe her nothing." I hung up, seething. Months passed, and Tammy's pregnancy became another source of tension. Then, one December evening, I got a call from her. She was hysterical. "We lost the baby, Sarah, and it's all your fault. You're heartless," she screamed. I took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. "I'm sorry for your loss, Tammy, but that's not my fault. I have no interest in your life outside of our shared custody." But Tom expected me to show sympathy. But I had no empathy left to give. I reminded Tom that, aside from our children, I had no interest in his or Tammy's life. Even my ex-in-laws suggested I should show compassion for the sake of the kids, but I couldn't bring myself to care. A few days later, Tammy showed up at my house. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying. "I'm so sorry, Sarah," she sobbed. "I think the miscarriage was karma for everything I've done. Can we be friends?" I was taken aback. "Get off my property," I said coldly, dialing the police. I also called my brother, Mark, who arrived swiftly. Tammy was still crying when the police arrived. "Sarah, please, I just need someone to talk to." "I'm not that person," I said firmly. The police escorted her off my property, and I turned to Mark. "Are you okay?" he asked, concern etched across his face. "I'm fine," I replied. I just can't believe her nerve. Tom arrived soon after to take Tammy home. We stood on the porch, the tension between us palpable. "The kids should stay with me until things stabilize," I said. "Agreed," Tom replied, his shoulders slumped. "I'm sorry about all this, Sarah." "It's not your apology I need," I said, watching him drive away with a broken Tammy in the passenger seat. As they left, I felt a sense of resolution. I had survived the worst betrayal imaginable, and now I was determined to protect my children and reclaim my life, free from the toxic presence of Tom and Tammy. But deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Tammy's mental state was deteriorating, and I had to consider my next steps carefully. Full custody and a restraining order were on my mind. I needed to ensure my children were safe and that the hard-won peace in my life wouldn't be shattered again. The next few weeks were tense. Tammy continued to spiral, sending erratic messages and even showing up at my kids' school. I realized it was time to take legal action. I consulted a lawyer about filing for full custody and obtaining a restraining order against Tammy. "You have a strong case, Sarah," my lawyer said. "Given her unstable behavior, the court will likely side with you." I felt a surge of relief, but I knew the battle wasn't over. Tom tried to reach out multiple times, attempting to reconnect. "We need to talk," he said one evening after dropping off the kids. "There's nothing to talk about, Tom. We'll communicate about the kids and nothing else," I said firmly. "But we were good together once," he insisted. "That's in the past. My only concern now is our children," I replied, closing the door on any hope he had of reconciliation. The legal process was grueling. I gathered evidence of Tammy's harassment and Tom's neglect during her episodes. Court days were filled with tension, but I stayed focused on my goal, protecting Lily and Ben. Finally, the judge ruled in my favor. I was granted full custody, and a restraining order was issued against Tammy. As I left the courtroom, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. I had fought for my children's safety and my own peace of mind, and won. Back at home, I hugged Lily and Ben tightly. "We're going to be okay," I whispered, feeling a sense of calm for the first time in months. The victory was bittersweet, but it was still a victory. I had been betrayed, but I refused to be broken. My new journey was just beginning. Winning full custody of Lily and Ben was a huge relief, but the struggle wasn't entirely over. Tammy's presence lingered in our lives like a bad dream that refused to end. Despite the restraining order, she continued to try and insert herself into our daily routines. One afternoon, I received a frantic call from Tom. "Sarah, I just found Tammy sitting in her car outside my office. She's refusing to leave," he said, his voice tight with anxiety. "I'll call the police," I replied, already dialing. "She's violating the restraining order. This needs to stop." The police arrived quickly and escorted Tammy away. She was warned that any further violations would lead to serious consequences. Despite everything, I felt a pang of pity for Tammy. She was clearly in a lot of pain, but I couldn't allow her to disrupt our lives any longer. Meanwhile, my relationship with Tom had settled into a tense but functional co-parenting arrangement. He was still grappling with the fallout from his relationship with Tammy, but we managed to keep things civil for the sake of the kids. One evening, after the kids were in bed, Tom and I sat down to talk. "How are you holding up?" I asked, trying to keep the conversation light. "It's been tough," Tom admitted. "I never expected things to get this bad with Tammy. I'm just trying to focus on the kids and work." "I get it," I said. "But we need to make sure she stays away from us for everyone's sake." "I know," he sighed. "I'm working on it. I've been looking into getting her more intensive therapy." As the weeks passed, Tammy's presence became less frequent, and the kids began adjusting to our new routine. But it wasn't long before another issue arose. Tom showed up at my house one evening looking more disheveled than usual. "Sarah, I need to talk to you about something," he said, glancing nervously at the kids playing in the living room. "Let's go outside," I suggested, leading him to the porch. "What's going on?" "I've been thinking about moving away," Tom said, his voice heavy with resignation. "I think it might be the best thing for everyone, a fresh start." "Are you serious?" I asked, shocked. "What about Lily and Ben?" "I would still visit regularly, but I think they need stability, and I'm not sure I can provide that right now," he admitted. I took a deep breath, processing his words. "If you think it's what's best, I won't stop you. But you need to be sure this is what you want." "I am," Tom said, his eyes filled with regret. "I've made a lot of mistakes, and I need to fix my life before I can be a good father to them." After Tom moved, things began to settle down. The kids and I established a new routine, and Tom kept his promise to visit regularly. It was hard for them to understand at first, but eventually they adjusted. I focused on providing them with a stable, loving home. One day, while I was making dinner, Lily came into the kitchen, looking thoughtful. "Mom, do you think Dad will be okay?" she asked. "I think he will, sweetheart," I replied, kneeling down to her level. "He's trying to get better, And sometimes people need a little time to figure things out. I miss him, Ben added, joining us. But I like being here with you too. I know, I said, hugging them both. We're going to be okay. We're a team, remember? As time went on, Tom began to stabilize. He found a job in another city and seemed to be doing better. His visits became more consistent, and he was slowly rebuilding his relationship with Lily and Ben. One evening, after Tom had visited the kids, he pulled me aside. "Thank you, Sarah," he said quietly, "for everything. For being there for the kids, for putting up with all of this. It's what they need," I replied. "And they need you too. So keep working on yourself. They deserve the best version of you." "I will," Tom promised. "I'm getting there." As I watched him drive away, I felt a sense of closure. The journey had been long and painful, but we were finally finding a way forward. Tammy had faded into the background, receiving the help she desperately needed. Tom was on the path to recovery, and our children were thriving in a stable environment. For the first time in a long while, I felt hopeful about the future. I had faced betrayal and heartache, but I had come out stronger on the other side. My focus was now on building a happy, healthy life for my children and myself. The past was behind us, and we were ready to embrace whatever came next. Now here's a question for you. If you were in Sarah's position, would you have shown any empathy toward Tammy after she lost her baby, considering all the pain she caused? Or do you think Sarah was right to keep her distance and focus solely on her children? We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave your comments below.